Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mendel Archives. This week's program is a continuation of last week. We spoke last week about the Manhattan group that the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rebbe were very concerned, and they sent Rabbi Mendel every single week. They had questions. You have to look at last week the program. And they came back and they asked the questions, and the Rebbe, our Rebbe, wrote down the questions. I wrote down the answers. So we did last week the program, and now we're going to continue. This was based on Bible Unauthorized, and the questions that group had, that the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe were very, very concerned, and they wanted to know in details. And I'm going to do now a continuation, other questions that they had, and the Rebbe wrote. This is the Ksav Yad of the Rebbe. So I'm going to read the Ksav Yad, and I'm going to translate that into English as much as I can. Shaila, Ma'u Teichen Ha'inyan, Shebachol Masa Bereshis Namar B'Biyosam Vayar Elikim Kitayv, and Ma Bol Lamdeinu, Maiko Mashvalor, the Rebbe writes, Hala Me'atzumi Muvan, Asher Kivon Shalokim Boram Teveim. What's the question? What is the meaning of this, that it says by the creation, and Hashem saw it was good? There are seemingly here two questions. Number one, what is the lesson that we can learn out from here that Hashem saw was good? And the second thing is, isn't it obvious? It's understood. Everything Hashem creates is good. So why does it say Al Hashem Kitev? So, here the Rebbe, before he answers this question, he wrote down a Hakdama, an introduction. The introduction is an introduction, and then we'll see the answer after knowing the three introductions that Rebbe gave. Tshuva Hakdama, the Rebbe writes, Kol Habriya Mischalekes L'arbo. Daimim Tzomeach Chai Medaber. Chiluk Ikri B'Negei L'Inyoneinu Ben Daimim Tzomeach Chai Medaber Asher Had Daimim Tzomeach Chai Einoi El Nifal V'loi Poel V'Yotzer B'Teva. What does it say here? The entire creation is divided into four levels. Number one, the inanimate species like stones, earth, water, metal. Number two, the growing species like trees, grass, plants, and so on. The third is the living species like animals, fish, birds, insects. And the fourth thing is speaking, people, which is man, who has intellect, the man that's different. There is a fundamental difference between the other three and man. That the other three can only be affected. They can only be a mekabel, but they cannot affect others. They cannot be a mashpia. Daimim tzameach chai cannot be mashpia. Only medaber. And they were created with the nature, as we're going to explain. Then the Rebbe says, Loi rak hadoimim v'tzomeach she'einam yicholim lishnos es mekoimam elo afilu hachai ha'oise kama tachboles v'shinuyim misvevosai. Not only the inanimate and the growing species cannot affect and have a certain nature, as we see, that they cannot even move. But even the living species, who does many things and changes to his surrounding. So you might think, seemingly, he does have the power of effect. A chai should be different than David Tzomeach. Contrary, you might think, contrary to what was just stated, but it will be shown, the Rebbe says, that even the living, Chai, does not have the power, as the Rebbe is going to explain soon. Now the Rebbe will explain how the animals can change and affect, but they're still different than Medaber. Now, how do we see that animals do have an effect? We see like this, the Rebbe says, Hanemola, Ogeretz b'kayitz lachma l'mei achayrev, asher oz b'teva li'imotzi teref b'shvilo. The ant gathers its food in the summer for the winter, because then it will naturally not have food. Also, Tilas Hameshi Erges Levushla Amasim Beyosel Lebatzov Kiyuma. The silkworm weaves clothes for itself, which is very appropriate for his situation. Also, Advaira Baina Kavarto Kamayadrikal Baki Ukahai Rabbis, Kahana Rabbis. I'm reading the Rebbe's handwriting here. The bee builds its honeycomb like an expert architect, and many like. Bekolze, Gambi Poloisov Elu, Chuki Hateva Himamakim Boy, V'oimrim Asei Kach, Uve'etzim Lamitose Shaldover, Einu Meisif, Kol Dor V'cholish B'briya. But even so, also these actions, it is the law of nature which hid him, Hamaki, the Rebbe says, and tell him to do so. And he's really not adding anything to creation. So the Rebbe wants to say, even though we see that Chai are different than Doimim and Someach, nevertheless, we see things that Chai are different, but they're not like people. Because that's the nature. And he's really not adding anything to creation. Masha'ein kein ha'odom. Asher milvad zeh she'ein hu muchrach b'maso. V'aydei abchira chofshi shalo yochelo lisnagid l'rotzen hativya shaboy oid zois asher b'yicholta liyos koyach yoytzer u'boyne ba'olam aydei masov ba'oifen ha'masim yochelo l'sakein es ha'olam l'zachachoy l'ishkal lo ha'irei u'koloshen azal shenasa shutof ha'kadosh baruch hu b'matzav reishis. I'll explain that. However, the man, in addition to the fact that his actions are not forced, and because of his free choice, he's able to oppose his natural will. Moreover, it is the power to create and build in the world, meaning that if his actions are done properly, he's able to fix the world, to purify, improve, and eliminate it. And as the sages say, he becomes a partner with the Eibishter, with Hashem, in the creation. That is the first introduction that the Rebbe gives to the answer that he asked at the beginning. Now the Rebbe is giving a second introduction. Engineer, mumche, ha'isa mechayna, hine kashem shal yachsa bebechayna mumche me'afnitzach lemilu tafkido, kein lo yiyeh bashum chelik v'dover sheini mevi te'elas ba'avedose v'asher efshar liyis belodi v'im kein eina kein ha'liza chosar v'shleimus eisa b'chuna. What is it? An expert engineer who makes a machine, anything, a car, the Rebbe writes machine. Just like there will be nothing missing in professional machine from what is needed to do his job, so too there will be no part and thing in it that does not bring any usefulness to the job, and that it can be without it. And if this is not the case, then then it's a lack in the one who made the machine. Has to be perfect. Mikol shkein for ulhavdil ve'in aroich. How much more so that the creator of the world did not create anything for nothing in the world in general and in man particular. Every part is important. And since Kiva Shalodam Nitna Yichailis, Lezache Hoilam Veliskalaloi, Hareze Machriach, Loimer, Shazehu Tafkid Odom Ale Adomais, Vavedosa Betelasol, Vainze Inyan Shel Rishus Elochaiva. And since a person was given power to purify the world and improve it, this shows that this is his mission here on earth. And this is what is expected from him. And this is not a choice, it's an obligation. So so a man is different. Now the Rabbi gives a third example. Introduction. Toiv amitis toyar ze eino shaykh el bedover sho betachlis lemusei. Ki im efshorim bay shekolu v'shleimus noisrim al shleimusei. Haray inyan shanimtzu bedover ze v'shu maneo maki es hashatal musei hura v'yef shalom al hadover toiv bemes im chelek v'menu hura. Oh, okay. The true meaning of the word good, only something which is completely perfect. Because if you are able to improve it and perfect it more, then the thing that is holding back the perfection, that's bad. So it's as if there is bad in the perfect thing. And you cannot say on the thing that has bad, that is true good. Therefore, the answer on the Shaila. Kivon she'ha'odam kanal. First Hakdama. Efshal aliyas yaitzi rubeinu ha'olam. Oidzais. Kivon she'ha'odam kanal. The Hakdama, the base. Chayva, olav. Lokachas chelek bebinyani shal ha'olam. Uskaloi ubeifu kazeh nivra ha'olam. And this is an answer to the question, since a person is able to create and build in the world, as we said before, and more so, he must take part in building the world and improving it. And it was in the manner that the world was created, as we said in the example, in the second example, a person can be a place to, he can make two mistakes. What? First mistake, sheyemer ha'odam v'koichi ani b'atzmi hineni miskalel es ha'olam v'alidei avidosi davke hinu nasim mera chosra shleimus teif. This gives room for two mistakes. One mistake, a person might say, it is with my power and it is me who is improving the world. And only through my work is the world becoming from bad to good. Sheyemar ha'odam mibli cheles Hashem chas v'sholem v'chas v'sholem livrei olam ad maloi bore beifun kazeh. A person might say, because Hashem is unable to chas v'sholem and chas v'sholem create a perfect world, that's why He created in this manner. That's why the pasuk says, "V'zeh bo hakosu v'omer b'siyum kol brio brio v'yar Elokim." Hashem saw from the beginning. Kshahabayre royas hadover hanivra shehu roya oisel hamitosai. Hein ma shenimtzo by gilui le'ein keil. Hein ma shenimtzo behelen v'koyach. Hariro teike b'briyosai b'sheishes yimei vreshis. Kitoiv asher hu toiv betachlis hashlimus. I'll say that in English. So this is why the pasuk says at the end of every single creation, and Hashem saw that when Creator sees the thing that was created, He sees truly. He sees not only what is revealed and can be seen by everyone, He also sees what the thing has hidden in it, the potential of it. That's the word. So right in the 6 days of creation, as soon as He created, He saw that it was good. And good means completely good, perfect. Because if it's not perfect, it's not good. So this is the answer of these two mistakes that one can have, that Hashem was certainly able to create a perfect world. And also, and he actually saw this perfection right in the beginning. And the person, what does the person do? He's only megale bepoil mashenimtzo behelim ubekayach. Hey benigay la'atzmai shemoitzi kayches hatoiv and alobim sheboy min hakoyach al hapoil v'al megale bibriya hatoiv amiti hakoms boy. And the person's job is only to reveal its actuality, what is already potentially there. The Eibishter did. This is true for himself, that he reveals the power that he has hidden in him, and through this reveals in the creation the hidden true good. And this is what the answer to these people. So in other words, Hashem sees the finished product. Only Hashem saw it was good. So when we see the world, we might think that it's not good, that it's not quite finished, perfect. So Hashem is saying here, Kitayv, yes, in potential, every part is created, and it's just that the man, the person, is the one that needs to finish the job. And this is the intention of creation of the world. Now, over here, I think that the small words I think that Rabbi mentioned there, this is adding to this. So we can, so that we can and should finish it and be his partner. But yet, if that is the case, a man might come to the false conclusion thinking, it is I who did this. So that's why Hashem says that I've mentioned Vayar Hashem Kitayv, that Hashem finished in the first day, in the potential, everything. And this is the answer to these, to the group. There's much more, right? But I think we have no time today. I don't know. Next week we're probably going to we'll use another. There's another question that people asked that the Eibishter destroyed the world. Why did Rabbi have to build and destroy? That's another discussion. Maybe there's 5, 6, 7 pages. I don't know if we're going to do it next week, but we'll Mirza Hashem next week we'll have a program maybe on something else. Thank you.